Hello and welcome. You're watching Cricbuzz Live. I'm Gaurav Kapur. With me, Zaheer Khan here in the studio. We've got Michael Vaughan in the UK. India and England, of course, playing a 5-match T20I series. India has taken a 2-0 lead. Can close the series out today. Win it 3-0. Of course, what has happened on the weekend? There's a lot of excitement. There was Coldplay that was performing in Ahmedabad, as you all know. And I'll tell you what has happened. About a year and a half ago, the Australians won our cup in Ahmedabad. And this weekend, the English won our hearts in Ahmedabad. We somehow don't seem to win anything in Ahmedabad. But well, we're happy because, saw the concert. It was nice. It was fun. A bit of Coldplay, which is exactly how England is playing in this series. Very cold, isn't it, Michael?
Yeah, I'm glad you liked Chris Martin. He puts on a tremendous show. The crowd at Ahmedabad was the crowd and the field that you needed to have for Travis Head in that World Cup final. But there's another story.
Oh, I love the digs. The good thing is that there is a World Cup that has happened post that 19th of November, and we won that. So that's been a bit of a balm on the wounds. Not that much though, right? Because look at him smiling away. He has an ODI World Cup. How would he know the pain?
I'm smiling because it's still hurting for GK, and that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
But look, Indian team is doing well right now. This format, we were expecting other results. We were expecting some fight from English team, but so far we've seen glimpses of that. They've not been able to put things together, and this is their last chance. If they're not able to do it today, then the series is over. So your prediction will still be in line. Your prediction was spot on. I was expecting a bit more fight, and maybe today, last match we've seen England came little close.
Yeah.
So if they're able to fine tune it further, they're going in with the same squad for this game. So that's something which we have to wait and see. But if they're able to do that, the series should be interesting.
Were you surprised by that team announcement, Michael? Because we have spoken about it so much in the first two games that get a spinner in. But then we said Rajkot maybe not that much help. Well, it has been a batter's paradise. So were you surprised, or how did you take that same 11?
No, it surprised me with the way that Brendan McCullum operates. He generally sticks to his guns. Outside noise, if that's what you want to call us, talking about changes or talking about a different formation. The England setup generally just get on with their business, and they were believing that they were close to winning the last game. They believe that the pace is the right option to go with. I personally believe that Rehan Ahmed should be in for a Jamie Overton. I think you need more of a spin combination on the wickets, even if it's a flat one in Rajkot. Pace off the ball, a little bit of mystery spinning it either way. Even if it's just doing a little bit, I think it's harder to hit than just deflecting a lot of the rockets that we've seen in the first two games. But it doesn't surprise me that they haven't changed, but I personally would have changed.
Yeah, it's such a good point. It's simple. It's not about the spin. It's not about the guile. It's just pace of the ball. And we saw that the Indian batters, it's easier. You won both games, obviously, so have ended up batting well. But if there's anything that's been slightly tough, it's been pace of the ball. Pace on the ball has been like cake for them. I mean, see how many Jafra Archer went for. 60 of his 4.
Yeah, we've been seeing that. And, when your bowling attack at times becomes one-dimensional, when the conditions are not really helping you, then it really goes against you. And that's why usually teams prefer to have that balance. Subcontinent conditions, if you are playing, you will mostly go in with 8 overs of spin. And then add to that, if you want to have 10 or 12 overs of option to be able to use the conditions, that just gives you that slight advantage. We've seen in this format, the margins are very small. So considering all that, definitely it was the case of maybe taking a little different approach and trying things, because you from outside want to see those kind of tactics being in play, knowing that the T20 World Cup is going to be here. So England is going to come here. We've seen in the 50-over World Cup, which you're talking about, England had a World Cup to forget. And then that is something, what you're learning from that is the question. So far, we've not seen that. Maybe it's the question of sticking to your strengths, or being stubborn at times, which we've seen, and we have to wait and see how it goes. But definitely in these conditions, you need to have that variety in your bowling attack to take advantage of the conditions.
I like the point that you made about it being one-dimensional, because it just makes it slightly easier for the batters when it's just one kind of traffic that's coming. And you saw that for England, it was tough last time with India's spinners. There was so much spin coming at India. But what England dished out to Indian batters was just a lot of short balls. They did get a little bit of success. Tilak negotiated it, but they did get a little bit of success. What did you make of their reliance on the short ball in the previous game, Michael?
Yeah, man, they had an element of success, but I just think that's like on these surfaces. I think it's a one-off. Fundamentally, they lost the game, and they should have got a few more runs with the batting hand. They should have got to 185. I think that would have been an easier target to defend. 6 overs of spin went for 28. 9.2 overs of Wood, Overton and Archer went for 108. So on the screen, it looks like they've had a little bit of success, but I just look at the history of cricket. It hasn't changed that much. And on Indian wickets, the more pace that you put on the ball, it's all right having one or two, but when you're trying to hit the opposition with 4 bowlers bowling pretty much from hip to head high, these players these days, they know how to play the short ball. The Indian batters, I guess, 15, 20 years ago, you could have potentially targeted 1 or 2 of them with the short ball. But all these young players that come in playing the game, they can play the cut shot, they can play the pull shot. I just think it's a bit of a one-trick pony, which might come off every now and again. But over the course of a period in a series, and we're in a 5-match series, England are 2-0 down. I'm staggered that they've not changed their formula. I'm staggered that they've not changed their approach. But it's McCullum and this modern England team, they generally just stick to the guns. They believe they're right. They'll have to prove me wrong, because I predicted that they'd win the series 3-2. And on the formation that they keep picking, on the pitches that they're going to be playing, and the fact that they're going to keep bowling rockets, I think I'm going to be a long way short of my prediction coming right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you did get it right with the Border Gavaskar Trophy. So every day is not Sunday, I mean, some days you're going to be let down by the team. But Michael's point and Zach's point, I think what comes out of that is there's a fine line between conviction and stubbornness, right? When have you treaded over that? You've got to be a little careful. But at this point in time, England will be hoping that Brendan McCullum and the team management, the captain Jos Buttler, they are relying on conviction that this 11 can pull it off. The reason why I have not told you who won the toss and what they're doing is because we can just play footage from the previous game or from the previous game, because it's the same. Surya has won the toss and has decided to bowl first. So again, this is something that is just working. And also, I mean, we spoke about the dew factor, and there was a lot of, I read a lot of online chatter about the fact that, listen, if this team has to bowl second, there could be a problem with the dew coming in. But at this point in time, the coin's landing Surya's way.
Yeah, they've not been challenged or tested in that department. If the dew comes into play and you're still going in with this kind of a bowling attack, will it put them under pressure? How they're going to respond, react? Those factors are still unanswered, and we'll have to wait for it. But so far, so good. Surya has been winning the toss. They've been bowling first. So all going their way with regard to the tactics and planning. Yeah. You do expect certain things to go your way. And this certainly is one of them. Yeah, so the team, well, the good news is we've been waiting for his return in India colours for a very long time. And I'm talking about Mohammad Shami, and here he is. The only person who could make space for him in that team was Arshdeep in that 11, because can't take a spinner's place. I mean, yeah, could actually, because there's a lot of spin. But India's not changing that, and Hardik will be bowling the new ball on the other side. But I want to tell you that when his name was announced on the ground, the entire ground erupted. That's how much Mohammad Shami has endeared himself to Indian fans, based purely on performance of the last few years. He's a champion. Yeah, he's a wicket taker. That's one thing stands out when you're looking at Shami's contribution. And that's immense, because you set the tone. We've seen Arshdeep also has been setting the tone up very nicely for the team. But looking at the stack up of the playing 11, I think there is a conscious effort being made with regard to having that many bowling options. So inclusion of Shami was maybe looking at how the template is set so far, by the team management. They could only facilitate by letting Arshdeep sit out a couple of games. Shami's injury come back, so at this level, it's going to be important for him to get some game time. The important Champions Trophy is going to be just a couple of weeks down the road. So he's done his work leading up to this stage, and now it's just about getting into the international level, checking those small little things which might be of concern. The workload is something which they'll be thinking of. 4 overs is just an idle way of starting it and then taking it to the 10 over in Champions Trophy.
Quickly want to ask you, I mean, as a fast bowler, when you are out for a year or something and you come back, I mean, for people like you, you're so experienced, he's played so many international games. Mentally, I don't think, mentally you just feel like you played a game last week, right? Or does it play on your mind that you haven't played, for like 15 months?
Well, when you've been around for so long, I think it's just about...
it's like riding a bike?
No, being ready physically.
Yeah.
I think, once you have those boxes ticked, the rest of the things, it's just pretty much on autopilot, isn't it? It's just about getting it out there, hitting the length, getting those processes going, getting back into the feel of things rather than anything else. And the physical fitness is that one important aspect which he'll be worrying about at this stage, not the other processes, I feel.
Yeah, everything else it's like, I guess for an experienced player like him, for a champion player like him, it's like riding a bike. You don't really forget it. But when Zach says that he's a wicket taker, he doesn't say that casually. It's factually, absolutely number-wise accurate, because the last international tournament that Shami played was the 2023 World Cup that I spoke about and that I like to forget, but I seem to not be able to. He was India's highest wicket taker there. Then the IPL he played in 23, Michael, he was the highest wicket taker there. So he's a proper champion, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, he's world class. And, India have really missed him. They missed him hugely in the Test series in Australia. I think if Shami had been with Bumrah throughout that series, we might have been talking about a different outcome. And I think it's England's chance, though, today, because Shami's bound to be a bit rusty. He's bound to be a little bit nervy back into the side. I know he's been playing some domestic cricket, but it might take him a game or two just to get used to the pressure zone once again. And it might be that England have an opportunity to hit a few today. But without question, the last few years, with the likes of Bumrah, Pat Cummins, Mitchell Stark, he's been the pick of all the seamers. He's been wonderful. He bowls that inviting length as about you think you can drive it, but he just seems to be able to get the ball moving either way, and that's with a red ball and a white ball. So for Indian cricket and the world game, it's great to see Mohammad Shami back.
Yeah, and let's talk about the captain. Captain's got him back into the setup today. So I guess a 2-0 lead is good enough. You go, all right, we're a little comfortable now. We can get Shami back in. You leave Arshdeep out of the side. But I think one thing's for sure now, Zach, going ahead in India's T20I plans, Arshdeep is one of the first names you write on that team sheet anyway.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I think, he's definitely that deserving candidate when it comes to that. He's shouldered the responsibility very well in absence of all the main bowlers. The lead bowlers, usually Bumrah, Shami, you've seen Siraj also. They've been rested for a while from this format. And then this format, Indian team and BCCI has been using it very nicely to get give all these guys opportunities.
When you say all these guys, you literally mean all these guys, because a lot of, we've got a list, I think. Look at this. There you go.
This format, I feel, is a plug and play.
Yeah.
This has been used in that fashion, and look at that list of those names. They've been very consistent performers at the franchise level. A few missed out because of the injuries, and also it's becoming a very healthy competition and a tough one.
Yeah.
If you're not able to cement your place quickly, the other guy is just going to be always pushing you behind your back. So that's what is happening. Look at Shami as well, right? Right now, to play Shami, you have to rest Arshdeep. So that's what it's come to. But all in all, it's been a good format and a good process which has been followed just to get exposure to as many as possible to get them ready for the international challenges.
Michael, if you look down that list, and it's quite a list because there's some serious talent on that, given the fact that, the T20 World Cup will happen in India, from the ones you have seen, let's say, if it was happening in 3 weeks' time or 4 weeks' time, putting injuries aside, who are your top three candidates here?
Well, Arshdeep Singh, Jasprit Bumrah, and I'm picking out the hat of probably, I think all of them. Avish Khan's a wonderful bowler. I'm looking at Harsha Patel. I like his variations. The top two stand out a mile in Bumrah and Arshdeep Singh. I just think they're two world-class performers. The rest I'll just pick out of the hat. I think you've got so many great options and so much talent in Indian cricket. Whoever comes out the hat will be able to do a decent job. But Arshdeep and Bumrah, they're up there with the best in the world in T20 cricket.
Yeah, pulling it out of the hat, plug and play. These players are ready, right? So these players are ready to just hit the ground running, as you can see. With a lot of them. All right, a guy who hit the ground running in this format is our current captain, Suryakumar Yadav. He had a year, especially the year that he had in 2022. I mean, if you had to choose a magic year and write your wish list and your own numbers, the year Surya had in 22, you'd probably write lesser than that if you wished it, because you'd feel like, oh, no, I can't ask the universe for so much. But then that's what he did. Now, when you compare that to these numbers, especially the one becoming, post-captaincy, he's hit 250s, not that many. Is there a concern there? Because I know that it almost feels silly to ask that question, Zach, because 441 runs, the average is 25, the strike rate is still 150, there's still 450s there. So, but if you compare him to himself, right, does this feel like a dip in form? Will Surya be thinking, all right, maybe I got to get a few runs now?
Well, he will be thinking about that for sure. It's because the kind of level which he operates at. You look at that efficiency in the last 2 years, and the numbers right now. Those numbers will be bothering him a little bit for sure. Just purely because of the kind of expectations which he has created by having those kind of years. You look at 14 50s in that, total 18 right now. You look at the number of hundreds. So he's been very, very consistent at this level. The numbers right now is surely on the downward side, but it might be accountable to the captaincy and the pressures. He's still adapting, understanding, and adjusting maybe. But surely he will be able to turn it around.
Yeah.
What's important is in this format we've seen there are so many players which are coming, which are having that uptrend, that upside which the team is looking at. So the impact as a team is still there.
Yep.
And the tactical side of things is what is expected out of a captain, especially when you're looking at Virat, Ravindra Jadeja, and Rohit. Going out of this format.
Yeah.
So, this gap is certainly, you need someone to be able to show the direction to the whole squad. So Surya's responsibility at this stage predominantly is that. But I'm sure back of his mind, he will be doing all the calculations to turn these numbers around.
Yeah, Michael, the thing with Surya is, I mean, he's just such an exciting bat to watch, especially in the T20 format, and he's ruled it for a few years. The thing is, when he's on song, the beauty about his batting is that it just looks so easy and so casual almost. But then when he gets out for a low score, you as a fan keep thinking, oh my God, why is he being so casual, right? It's a double-edged sword. What would you as a captain, a former captain, what do you make of that? Do you want him to just go in the same vein, or you think, okay, you've got a few low scores, maybe 2 or 3 balls, you don't try to go for a 6?
Well, I think in T20 cricket, he's got to continue to play his way. He's a wonderful stroke player, and he seems to read the bowlers very early in terms of what they're trying to deliver and gets himself in great positions to strike. So T20 cricket, I'd be telling him to go hard. 50 over cricket, I think he can give himself a little bit more time. I actually look at the way that he plays and the way that Test match cricket is moving forward with more flamboyancy, more aggression. I think he can become a really good middle order player for India in Test match cricket, particularly on spinning wickets. Back home in India, you're going to play on spinning wickets. Where the old scores of 450, 500, they seem to be dwindling a little bit more so these days. And 300 is becoming around a par score. if those are the kind of test games that you're going to play in Indian conditions in the future, I'd love to see a Suryakumar Yadav in the middle of it, just playing flamboyantly against spin. But that's for another day to have that conversation. But in T20 cricket, I'd be telling him to go ultra aggressive all the time.
Oh, Michael, as if there isn't enough confusion with India's test side batters that you're adding one more name in there. Look at you. You're the headlines tomorrow now. He's done it. He's the headline tomorrow. Surya in Michael Vaughan's test squad. Okay, but we'll...
On spinning wickets.
On spinning wickets. All right, great.
Not necessarily in the UK, but in the UK, we generally have quite flat wickets, so I'll be adding him to the squad. And if the pitches are going to be flat, I want players in the middle of the innings that can be really flamboyant and aggressive against the opposing side. So I would have him in my squad.
All right, so on spinning wickets, he says, but you're not going to read that because they'll bury that in the article. The headline will just be what the headline is. All right, there's some headlines to be made with Jos Buttler as well, the opposing captain for Suryakumar Yadav. And again, the talk has been the same. When we're talking about somebody playing spin, like Michael is saying Surya does well on spinning wickets, Jos Buttler is the only one who seems to be doing that for England in the previous game, with so much spin coming England's way. He was the guy who was holding fort, got more than half the runs. There was Bryden Cast who got the second highest. But Jos Buttler, again, I mean, it comes back to the same thing. If they're playing the same 11, Zach, they're going to play him in the same position. One of the openers inevitably ends up going early, and Jos Buttler's up to opening, effectively.
Yeah, I mean, from England's point of view, they will be thinking that the start is a decent one. You know, that's one box they've not been able to tick in this series. If they do that, even if it's 25, 30 runs, you know, it just sets that ball rolling nicely, and then for Buttler to come in and then put pressure on the spinners is going to be that much easier. We've seen in the previous game he was looking to be aggressive, which is a good sign. Like he's not getting bogged down by the wickets falling at the other end or whatever happened in the previous game. And that's the experience you're talking about. That's the approach you're talking about from Jos Buttler. He's a complete player in this format. You know, he can, once he's on strike, if he's there in the middle, there's always going to be pressure on the bowlers. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and Michael, the thing with, I mean, a captain and a coach can talk to batters, or you can just show them. You lead by example. And I think Jos Buttler did that in the previous game, where I understand baseball is all about, you know, hitting big sixes, but twos get you runs as well.
Yeah, and those numbers on the screen just tell you, because the leg side generally you have mid-on the boundary, you have mid-wicket on the boundary, square leg just behind on the boundary. So there's a big pocket in the mid-wicket just to knock it into that gap for ones and twos. And that's where Jos Buttler's probably playing better than the other England players at the minute. That a lot of the England players have got boundary options. We've seen that. But what they don't have is what Buttler has, is that ability to knock a good ball for a one or a two into those pockets, into mid-wicket. He's a brilliant quick runner between the wickets as well. And I think that's the key, actually, to being a brilliant player against spin. I'm not necessarily saying it has to be all about the boundaries. It's about rotating the strike. When a spinner ball's a good ball, can you just read length and knock it into that gap, get down the other end, or get back for a quick two? Low risk cricket for quite high rewards. If you do that consistently, you're not allowing the spinners to bowl any dot balls. You're putting them under pressure. You're always going to find boundaries. This era, they're always going to have boundary options because they hit it so far and so hard, and they've all got the tricks. But there's only a small few, particularly in English cricket, that can hit the good balls into those pockets for ones and twos. Joe Root's another player who can do that, and he's doing it quite nicely in South Africa. There's been a little bit of noise of potentially bringing Joe Root back into the T20 team. I'm not too sure whether that will happen, but England need more players like Buttler that can hit the good balls into the pockets for ones and twos.
Yeah, Joe Root again been doing really well as an opener for the Pal Royals, where we have our buddy, our colleague Dinesh Karthik there. And they've finished an unbeaten run at home, actually. So they've gone the whole season without losing at Pal. So it's a small ground, right? You've been there, you've played there.
Yeah.
It's a small little town, isn't it?
Good fun.
One horse, two horses, something like that. Yeah. I've been to Port Elizabeth. I remember when the IPL happened. That's one horse. So there was one horse in that town, and there was so much wind that horse ran away as well.
That's the old name, GK.
Oh, sorry. Then I can't say the new name. Can you? I challenge you right now. Dinner's on me if you do it.
I'll listen to it when you say it.
I don't know. Michael, can you say it? Can you say Port Elizabeth's new name?
What is it? Can you give me half an idea what it is?
I not even a tenth.
Yeah.
We'll put it on the screen. Okay, hang on. My director's saying it in my ear. What is it? Kebeha.
Cabeja.
Cabeja.
Kebeha. That's not that difficult.
We'll ask DK when he comes back.
Yeah, I think DK will know. Probably just call him right now and get it done. All right, I'm just going to give you a toss update and a team update real quick. India has won the toss and again, for the third time, chosen to bowl first. England decided to go with an unchanged 11 and we'll have a look at that as well. Lots of pace. They've gone with 4 pace options. This is the India 11 where Mohammad Shami is coming in. So Mohammad Shami has come in place of Arshdeep. India has a 2-0 lead, so decided they could give Arshdeep a game off because want Mohammad Shami to come in. They want him to be part of the Champions Trophy. So therefore, getting a little game time here in Rajkot. And England going in with the same 11. The 4 quicks there, Mark Wood, Jofra Archer, Bryden Cast, Jamie Overton. And spin duties with the experience, very effective, Adil Rashid and Liam Livingston will be doing some as well. All right, I'm just going to quickly ask you about this ground, Zach, because expecting it to be a lot of runs, Rajkot is batter friendly. Are you expecting it to be a 200 game as well?
Hoping for that. Maybe there might not be that much assistance what we've seen so far for the spinners. But generally, this ground has been a high-scoring ground.
Yeah.
So you can expect above par total on this.
Yeah. So is that what your score guess will be as well? Are you going?
Score guess, I think I'll go in with 195.
195 is.
Yep.
Ooh, look at Michael's reaction. Michael let out a silent whistle. What's yours?
This is a high-scoring ground.
Look at that. What is that?
180.
180.
180?
180. Bosh, bosh, bosh.
So 180, you're saying 195. I think I should just quietly go and just sit in the middle.
Okay.
All right, which would be 187. That's what I'm going to do. 187. 180, 187, 195. Okay. Okay. Those are our guesses. Our joy factor question, which is never easy to guess. In fact, you can't guess it. You either know it or you don't. Jake Weatherall was the first to achieve this feat in 2017. What is the feat and who is the latest to achieve it? I tell you what, I think I know this.
Oh, I think I might.
I think I know this. I think, Michael, do you think that this has something to do with a game that was played yesterday?
Yeah, I think it's something to do with Australia and the Big Bash. Potentially a final. Is that correct?
Well, you just spoon-fed it. At least I was giving a hint. You've taken a bowl, you've taken a scooper, and you've just put it in the mouth of everyone.
But you did say the game that was played yesterday. You name me another game in world cricket that was played yesterday other than the women's under-19 games.
There was, which Jake Weatherall could not have played at any point in time. So that gets ruled out, right? There was the South Africa League game yesterday, which was not in existence in 2017. There is the T20I. Well, that doesn't count. No one's watching that. So that's it. The only thing that was left, I gave a very smart clue, right? But anyway, you guys know now. Hashtag Joy Factor, hashtag Cricbuzz Live. Send in your guesses. We're waiting. We're watching. Right now it's England. They're going to bat first. We're going to see you at the end of the 10th over with Cricbuzz Combox. Zach and me are going to be there. Give you a little update of how the England batting is going. It's an upward trajectory when it comes to giving a fight to India. They did much better in the second game than they did in the first. Can they do even better in the third and take it across the line and keep the series still in play? Or can India shut them out and win it 3-0? We're here with you all evening, so stay with us. It's Michael Vaughan, Zaheer Khan. I'm Gaurav Kapur. Thank you for watching Cricbuzz Live.